the last period, where we as guarantee scheme had to tackle later on with all this support that we got, we cannot but perform, and perform in an excellent way, and perform in a unique way, to prove to all those supporters at the level of the government and the others, that we are, we deserve this support, and we know actually that we can do a difference. So we started to tackle all of this by addressing what's guaranteed. This is the most important. We're partners, we're not actually two sides, we're the other side of the coin. You present the credit, we provide the guarantee. You take the guarantee as a bank, and against this guarantee you have, number one, a cash guarantee. This is number one, cash. Whenever the client is defaulting, you immediately take a cash money. Number two, you cover your risk. You cover part of your risk, which is a very part against the coverage, which is approximately 70% from the facility that you provide. You're covered, by the guarantee scheme. So that gives you increase your appetite to go and tackle more of the SMEs. Number three, with the way that we got, the banks are benefiting because, firstly, you're not going to accumulate provision against the covered party by the guarantee. So that by itself is reducing your liability towards the facilities that you are providing. Number two, and as per Basel II, you are not required to apply the minimum capital requirement. For banks, according to Basel II, it's approximately 12%. All banks have to calculate as a minimal capital requirement for the SMEs. So this also has been waived against the guarantee. As a result of this, that maximizes the benefits and the profits of the bank, and it hits directly their P&L. So now we have a very balanced relationship. So we reached to a point now we're partners. So we moved to a step ahead, with the banks. Not only the financial that you're getting, which was step one, but we have number two, actually. We started to do something which is very important that has to do with, we have a wealth of information, of course. We are a company that has been on board for 28 years. And by definition, any guarantee scheme dealing with all banks, we have a wealth of information. We started to utilize this, and we started to share information with banks. So we started to tell banks, here we are, here's our portfolio at large, and here you are from our portfolio, and here are our risky areas that we can see across all banks, and here's your risky areas. From that, we moved ahead again, and we started to work on risk-based pricing, because it's just because we go with the market, we put our plan. We're not going to hit the market with a number of initiatives all at once. No, but we started to take the bank slowly, we need to understand the culture of the bank, and we worked with them. So we started to price this year, actually, 2018, we started the application of a price-based pricing. So we tell each bank, the ball is in your court. It's you. You decide which price you're going to pay based on your performance. Because I cannot actually go at the end. We have to be a sustainable scheme. As Moni mentioned, okay, we can get support from the government. But in our strategic plan, we target to cover the 2 billion that we've got from the central bank in the coming 3 to 4 years from our operational revenues. So we have to be sustainable. But while we are sustainable, so because we have to accumulate provision, we have the main bulk of our expenses is coming into provision. So we have to measure the risk associated with our portfolio. So we told the banks, let's just go risk-based. We have either we guarantee case by case and we guarantee portfolio, and now we're heading to equity and number of models. But the very important point, so we used to apply flat rate, but we will start applying a kind of risk rate. So we have Bank X, for example, we have National Bank of Egypt, which is the major bank in our portfolio and the most active bank in SME in Egypt anyhow. And we measure the risk, we measure the rejection ratios of the cases. We talked about how much claims that we received from them, recovery ratios, number of ratios, that are all relevant to the performance of the bank. And based on this, we came with a lower price, and we applied that starting March this year. And we started working with other banks based on this. And the model of the portfolio actually is a pure risk-based model. So actually we go, we guarantee a total portfolio, we agree on the criteria, and whatever risk appeared within this, we change actually the ratios accordingly. The step 4 that we did actually as an experience here, and this is the final, we started to be very proactive. We look at the market, we see how the market is moving, and we come with models. So we first had a case-by-case, portfolio guarantee. Now we're heading to equity. We're doing factoring and securitization. We're having micro. So we have to be very proactive. So in general,
that's... You've got a pretty full plate there and a very extensive program.
Yeah.
So, but thank you.
Thanks.
And Homa, maybe you could just mention, I know everyone here is familiar with Kafalah, but you could mention some of the newer initiatives that you've been working on.
Yeah, I will try to give just some highlight about Kafalah and Kafalah background and the initiatives which is taken by Kafalah. First of all, Kafalah, it's a joint effort between the Ministry of Finance and the World Bank. Started about 16 years ago, and it started to be appealing about 12 years ago or 13 years ago. And that was by a capital invested, which is 100 million riyal paid by the government and 100 million riyal paid as a gift from all Saudi banks. And it shows the commitment from the financial bank or from the banks to Kafalah and to the guarantee program, how important it is, and that's about 12 or 13 years ago. When this investment it was done, the first year, the program issued only 34 SME or guarantee. After that, a growth started little by little, and at the growth rate 5 to 10%, it was reaching until the end of 2017. By beginning 2017, the capital of Kafalah started to be shrink, the leveraging ratios start to be so high, the demand of the market start to be, really a big pressure on the guarantee program, and the government start giving a major focus on Kafalah itself. So a royal decree came with an investment or injection of 800 million to be put in Kafalah, and simultaneously a royal decree came to raise the capital of Kafalah up to 1.8 billion Saudi riyal. Now, with this generosity and with this huge investment, which is almost 9 times with the original capital we received, it was, a major pressure on Kafalah and Kafalah team to restructure the whole program, to think outside the box and start building new ideas that it can really work fast and shows the impact on the SME business in Saudi Arabia. So we came with going up from a single program, which is a ceiling limit of 1.6 million Saudi riyal, to 5 programs. These 5 programs focusing on different sectors. First of all, we start with restructuring the basic program, where we raise, the covering amount from 1.6 million to 2.5 million. Simultaneously, we worked on a program that specialized for a startup business. So a startup business, we worked with Munshaat, and that's where Munshaat, they came and invested capital with us. And that capital, we allocated especially for startup businesses from day one of operation, where the first year we can guarantee up to 1 million, second year we can go for 2 million, third year we can go up to 2.5 million. Thirdly, we went to a specific sector which is governed by the Tourism Industry Authority, and that's by also allocating special capital for this program, and where we came with a specific program where we issued a guarantee up to 15 million with coverage ratios up to 90%. Now, also we came with a specific product where it goes for the mid-sized companies, and that's also by support of Mushaat, where we cover up to 15 million Saudi riyal. Last and not least, we came with another program to support MPFI, which we are not part of the network of Kafalah, and we start with them with a specific program up to 2.5 million. Now, when we structured these 5 programs together, we found that one of the basics is that transferring knowledge and building a product by yourself is not sellable. You need to work together. So the first thing we did is that we sit together. We sit with the banks, and we sit with MPFIs, we sit with Munshaat and different authorities, SAMA and different authorities, and we tailor the product to the demand of the market through various workshops, understanding the SMEs. We learned from our mistakes before our successful story. We went to customers and partners that had difficult time when they received a lending from SME, from the banks and different sectors, and we understand what went wrong, and we transferred that to a new product. When the whole equation went together, we understand that new schemes require, in addition to the programs, these schemes, it goes to, for example, enablement. We found that the woman is underserved in Saudi Arabia, and that's because of the old structure. So Kafalah, with with the Mushaat, we work together to tailor a special product for ladies, where the ownership above 50% of that organization, we start giving them a very specific product. Simultaneously, we went and we found that areas where, a promissory area, we call them a promissory area, which is outside the 3 main areas in Saudi Arabia, which is Riyadh, Jeddah, and Eastern region. We found that they are underserved. They are not receiving their real needs from the financing. So we incentivize them with a specific program to them. Now, all that, it turned out to see a massive growth in the portfolio, which is, I will just give you a number, some of the numbers. For example, quarter 1 to quarter 1, 2019 to 2018, we saw a growth of 250% in the lending and growth of 270% in the guarantees. And in terms of number of SMEs, a growth of 60%. Now, this is really wonderful to have. Simultaneously, we understand that in order to serve the banks and other partners, first of all, you need to increase your networks, and you have to renew your legal contractual with the partners. So we restructured our partners' legal structure or the agreement. Then we built up a new relationship with additional partner MPFIs, and that increased the number of beneficiaries for Kafalah from 12 institute or banks to 26 institute within 1 year. Simultaneously, we restressed our relationship with our existing banks and institute, where a quarterly, at least quarterly meeting or a monthly meeting, we conduct with them. We start going outside the box and start visiting areas which is required to understand what Kafalah is about. A conference like this one and additional conferences conducted through the past 14 months, and thanks for our team in the public relations, they start putting a major work on that area, where we assure that every correlated conference we have to be presented, we have to communicate our message, we have to communicate what's Kafalah, and that's knowledge which need to be given to everyone. And now, I would say this is the development part. The in-house part, we thought that one of the main strike it faced the banks before, that the processing time. So we measured the processing time and we found that it takes, or it used to take 17 days to process a single kafala. So we realized that the team, which is Kafalah team, is about 105 employees, and we used to be a single gender. We become a mix of gender where ladies, they become a major part of Kafalah, and we work together to create a kind of champion challenging team that they work to support SME. And that reduced the working process to 3 working days to issue the Kafalah. Simultaneously, we empower some of the banks so that they can take the Kafalah within the same day by themselves. So if the quality of the portfolio is so good, they don't need to send it to Kafalah. They can be empowered and they can do the business by themselves. And that's also an expediting process, an empowerment, and they start feeling the added value of Kafalah. So back again, differential pricing is a key. Different risk level of different lenders is an important part. Measuring the relationship with the right partners is a key element. Transferring knowledge is also a factor that helps Kafalah to grow forward. And I believe now what we are talking about Kafalah 2.0, that's how to start utilizing the artificial intelligence and the expert system to measure the possibility to take a decision up front by the system itself and make the human being only for exceptional cases where it requires, and that it will give stability. Simultaneously, we will look forward in 2020 to start being like a bureau for banks and MBFIs, where we can furnish them with the information about the behavior of the SME in Saudi Arabia so that they can understand where the risk and opportunity could be there, and simultaneously where we can learn from our mistakes, and hopefully we will minimize our mistakes. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Hamam. Ismet, if we could turn to you for a minute, pardon me, to talk a little bit about your program and also talk a little bit about whether banks see the guarantee program as a profit center within the bank.
Teşekkür ediyorum.
Thank you.
Ben Türkçe konuşacağım. Benden sonra Mahmut Bey çevirecek.
As I speak Turkish, after me, Mr. Mahmoud will translate it for yourselves.
Konuşmama başlamadan önce Türkiye'deki bankacılık sistemi ve KOBİ'leri hakkında rakamsal verileri paylaşmak istiyorum.
At the beginning of my conversation, my speech, I would like to give you some brief information about Turkish SME sector in terms of banking.
Türkiye'de yaklaşık 2 milyon KOBİ bulunuyor.
There is approximately 2 million single SMEs in Turkey.
Bankacılık sisteminde aktif kredili çalışan, kredi garanti sistemini kullanan 29 banka var.
There are 29 banks in Turkish sector using credit guarantees.
Türk bankacılık sistemin toplam kredi büyüklüğü yaklaşık 500 milyar dolar.
The total volume of bank lending in Turkey is approximately half trillion dollars.
Türkiye'nin toplam GDP büyüklüğü 800 milyar dolar.
GDP of Turkey is equals to approximately 800 billion US dollars.
17. büyük ekonomi Türkiye.
Turkey is the 17th largest economy in the world.
Kredi garanti sistemiyle sağlanan toplam kredi büyüklüğü yaklaşık 65 milyar dolar.
The loan volume supplied provided with the support of loan guarantees in Turkey equals to approximately 65 billion US dollars.
Bankacılık sisteminin toplam 500 milyar dolarlık kredisinin %25'i KOBİ'ler tarafından kullanılıyor.
Keeping in mind that the total bank lending volume of 500 billion US dollars in Turkey, approximately 25% of those lending are being used by SMEs.
KGF sistemiyle kredi kullanan KOBİ sayısı yaklaşık 700 bin KOBİ'ye ulaştı.
When we look at the number of SME number which uses loan guarantees while accessing finance, it is approximately 700,000 SMEs.
KOBİ kredilerinin toplam büyüklüğünün %35'i kredi garanti sistemi tarafından kefalet desteğiyle desteklenmekte.
Especially for SME loans, we can calculate that approximately 35% of SME loans are being guaranteed by loan guarantee system in Turkey.
Bu kadar genel rakam değerlendirmesinden sonra kredi garanti fonu Türkiye'de nasıl çalışıyor ondan bahsetmek istiyorum.
After sharing some major numbers in terms of Turkish economy and banking numbers, I would like to give information about Kredi Garanti Fonu KGF also.
Kredi Garanti Fonu Türkiye'de 1991 yılında kuruldu.
It's established on 1991 in Turkey.
Ancak 25 yıl boyunca istenen sonuçları elde edemedi.
However, the results are not accomplished during 25 years of its operations.
Çünkü geleneksel yöntemlerle çalışıyordu.
Because it's used to execute transactions with conventional approaches.
Teknolojiyi tam kullanamıyordu.
Additionally, it was not capable of using the technology in appropriate manner.
3 yıl önce biz bir dönüşüm projesi başlattık Kredi Garanti Fonu'nda.
3 years before, we have initiated a corporate development process within KGF.
Teknolojiyi en iyi şekilde kullanacak bir altyapı kurduk.
We have established an infrastructure by the very best use of IT support.
Ayrıca çok iyi bir rating sistemi kuruldu.
Additionally, I would like to mention that a rating system has been established also within KGF.
Kredi Garanti Fonu sistemiyle banka sistemi online çalışıyor.
The infrastructure of KGF and the banks are integrated and we can say they are working online.
Rating sistemin desteğiyle talepler 24 saat içinde sonuçlandırılıyor.
Thanks to this rating system support working online, the applications are being executed, finalized within 24 hours.
Günde ortalama 5000 talep sonuçlandırılıyor.
And as a number, we can call approximately 5,000 transactions are being held with this infrastructure.
Ve toplam çalışan sayısı 180 olan bir şirket. Kredi Garanti Fonu.
And we are talking about a company, a joint stock company, which has 180 staff employed.
Şu anda toplam kredi büyüklüğü anlamında dünyanın en büyük kredi garanti fonu, Kredi Garanti Fonu.
And we can say that as per the volume of loan guarantees, KGF is the largest single entity which has the most volume in the world.
Çok iyi çalışan, dünyanın çok iyi örneklerini kendi içinde harmanlayan bir sistem.
This system gets all the approaches together and makes some hybrid approach by using all advantages of other single approaches.
Kredi Garanti Fonu hem kendi kaynakları hem yurt dışından kaynaklar hem de Hazine Bakanlığı'nın sağladığı kaynaklarla çalışıyor.
The sources of finance funds we can call its own equity and foreign sources of fund, and lastly the state supported funds.
Asıl misyonu reel sektörü, en başta KOBİ'leri desteklemek olan Kredi Garanti Fonu, reel sektörle bankacılık sistemini ortak çıkarda buluşturan bir yapıdır.
KGF at the beginning started with the mission of supporting SMEs, but when it comes today, KGF is the common platform for SMEs, banking sector, and brokers.
Türkiye'nin 2017 yılı büyümesi 7.4 oldu.
The GDP growth of Turkey in 2018 was 7.4.
Bu büyümede en önemli payı Kredi Garanti Fonu desteği sağladı.
The most supporting topic to this GDP growth was KGF operations.
2017 yılında yaklaşık 250 bin KOBİ'ye kefalet sağlandı. 250 bin.
Just within the year of 2017, KGF has provided 250,000 SMEs.
Kefalet desteği sağlanan bu KOBİ'lerin 2017 istihdam artışı yaklaşık 250 bin oldu.
While if we look at the employment development within those SMEs which are supported with loan guarantees, within just a year after being provided guarantee, there has been an increase of 250,000 employees.
Thank you, Ismet. Let me jump on in here. Giuseppe, if you could just quickly talk about what the Small Business Administration does in the U.S., and then we'll have a little time for questions here.
Okay.
So you move the mic a little closer to your...
A little closer? Okay.
Yeah.
So my job here is made a little bit more difficult because, first of all, there are lots of really interesting and well-developed efforts that have been described. Two, I'm speaking before my former boss, who knows probably more than anything I'll ever know about the SBA. And three, I have to do it quickly. Okay, so the SBA was started in 1953. I would define it as a public-private partnership that has a high degree of differentiation along three dimensions with the objective of maximizing flexibility for the borrower, the lender, and the agency, all the while operating under annual fiscal constraints. So the three critical differentiating factors are, first, the lender experience. We delegate the credit decision authority to the private sector lender. We just certify that certain criteria are met. Then, based on the lender experience, we delegate higher or lower credit decision authority and monitoring. The second differentiating factor would be the product characteristic that the lender and borrower, the lender is user and the borrower is requesting. We have, excuse me, about 12 product lines with different maturities from a year to about 20-year top, average 12 years. Different size from microloans under 50K express loans, 350K in US dollars, and max of 5.5 for long-term term loans. Then, of course, there's the borrower characteristics. Are they in a specific higher risk sector? Then based on these three, we provide three different elements or assistance that we differentiate based on these factors. One is the percent of guarantee that ranges between 50% to 90% for very special purposes, mostly export. Fees, there's a scaling fee largely determined by the size and maturity of the loan. In the last 4 or 5 years, we determined that for very small loans, we waive the fee, and indeed we actually pay for the credit score because we want to incentivize small loans. Finally, interest rates. We work off several market-based base rates. Prime borrower rate is the most common. And then we have a markup scheme or range, anywhere between 2.25 on top, let's say prime, to 4.75%. In very special case, where the borrower is in a higher risk, especially if it's a mission-driven, such as rural or high impact, we allow up to 6%. So we use that market cap as the barometer or lever to incentivize and indeed control our risk our risk exposure. In one case, in export working capital, where the risk is very difficult to assess and indeed volatile over the lifetime of the credit, we don't have a maximum interest rate, but we monitor it. As far as sectors, we are in all sectors that are legal. We do work with innovative SMEs, or I would say fast-growing innovative SMEs in the venture capital market. We have a specific line of product for the commercial real estate, and these are structured finance, where our part is credit guarantees. And of course, we work with a lot of franchises because their business model is very transparent. Why do we do this? Primarily, is to meet our policy objectives. Often and very publicly, this policy objective is determined by the number of jobs created by our assistants. But interestingly enough, if one goes back to the authority that establishes the SBA, there is no mention of jobs. The policy objective of the SBA are actually competition, and at the end, the reason the policy objective of competition is national well-being and security. So in the last 3 years, I worked on a special project where I chaired a group of 60 staff of 30 economists, 20 program managers, and 10 legal staff to come up with an evaluation methodology and required data to fully assess all the impacts of assistant SMEs. And they're not just jobs, they are actually a broad notion of labor, which would be number of jobs, benefits and wages, value generation such as revenue, profits, cash flow, business dynamics such as starts, expansion, mergers and acquisition, and failures. And lastly, market expansion in the export market and innovation. The reason why I bring that up is that for credit guarantees, especially that are either totally or partially funded from a public source, a full range, robust evaluation makes a stronger case than just jobs.
Thanks, Giuseppe.
That's it?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's it. I'm getting a yellow light here. I apologize. I did have them go ahead and put the Slido screen up. Hamam, there's a question for you. If you would like to address it, talking about, I think, the guarantee fee and the extra cost involved in a SME guaranteed loan.
Can you, I can't see it well.
So I'll read it. It says, Kafalah is encouraging banks to lend to SMEs through its guarantee program. However, SMEs are burdened with increased credit costs as a result.
Right, okay. That's absolutely right if you think it, blindly. But what Kafalah did is that it's a start to build a network wider than the banks. So that it will create a competition between banks and MBFI to provide the best alternative loan with the best price. Simultaneously, now Kafalah is working with Munshaat to build a platform that it will allow the SME owner to put all his or her information on that platform and to provide a kind of credit profile that will be offered to all lenders. And they will start competing on pricing and terms and conditions that will be in the benefit of the SME owners. And that it will be a chance for, every SME owners to get. And that it will be either with Kafalah or without Kafalah. So the choice, it will be the SME owner, it will be changing the game, and that it will provide much better price and better condition to the SME owners.
Let me just add something. From my own perspective, working globally, the fee here in the kingdom is relatively low compared to what's typically seen in other schemes, which is in the 2 to 3% range. And the folks in the United States, depending on how big the loan is, in some cases are paying up to 3.5% to 4%. So just to kind of give that a little bit of perspective. If there are any more questions, please type them into Slido. And who would like to take this question? Are there any credit guarantee schemes in the GCC countries? Come on.
Yeah, I believe that the Emirates recently they restructured their credit guarantee scheme, and they announced it about a couple of months ago. Kuwait, thank you. You are here, and now we're seeing. I know Qatar they have one. Oman, I was in contact with Oman also. They are planning to put something being called in I believe in October or September this year, to be participating with them and sharing our experience. So yes, there's multiple programs either started or it's in the process of starting.
Okay, and our last question is for Mr. Gergely. If you could translate for him and he could address the issue.
Okay. Kredi Garanti Fonu kefaletiyle Türkiye'de kredi kullanan KOBİ'ler daha düşük faizle kredi alıyor. Bunun sebebi
the SMEs which utilize KGF guarantee while borrowing from financial institutions are getting lower prices.
Çünkü bankalar kredi kullandırırken zorunlu ayırması gereken karşılıkları KGF kefaleti varsa ayırmak durumunda değiller.
As per regulations, banks are not obliged to make provisions, significant amount of provisions which are supported by KGF guarantees.
Bu da maliyet düşürücü etki yaratarak KOBİ'lerin daha düşük faizle borçlanabilmesine imkan sağlıyor.
So thanks to this privilege, banks are getting able to reflect those cost advantage to final beneficiaries.
Thank you. We are out of time. I've got a red light here. I want to thank the panelists for joining us today, and I appreciate their expertise and their passion for their job. And I will turn the mic back over to the Master of Ceremonies. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, our moderator and speakers. Mr. Humam is not here, and our moderator, Mr. Humam is here as a speaker. Mr. Humam will take the pleasure of handing over the trophies for our distinguished speakers. Starting with Mr. James, the session moderator. Thank you, our speakers. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are having a 45 minutes break for lunch. Let's be here at 2:30 to continue with our program. And a session titled FinTechs Revolutionizing SME Finance Landscape. إذا نتوجه الآن لاستراحة لمدة 45 دقيقة لتناول وجبة الغداء. نعود بعدها لاستكمال برنامجنا مع جلسة بعنوان ثورة التكنولوجيا المالية لتمويل المنشآت الصغيرة والمتوسطة. إذا وجبة الغداء مقدمة في القاعة، سيرشدكم مضيفون إليها في الأسفل. نتوجه يمينا ثم إلى الأسفل، سيرشدكم مضيفون. Our hosts will guide you to the lunch hall. Thank you very much.